Oh, this is us back once after a very long time to none other than the Barras. The Barras. Oh, with my bow and arrow, I'm going down the Barra. And a haunt from long ago. Gosh, it's changed. Not a lot. Grand Marshal started doing these toilet roll dollies, knitted them. You know, she did that. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And it went really well at the jumbo kits. And I decided to get her to make it. So I used to give your mum or your gran so much for each one. That, but I provided the wool and the wee dolls, you know, but I didn't have any, so I had to find them from somewhere. So we went away down, me and this girl, I'll remember her name, to the wholesale place down round about the south side part, and it was all the toys and people's, but it was wholesale, you know, it's not trade only. And we went in and we were looking at the stuff, and anyway we saw these Luminarc ashtrays, and I thought they were good. Anyway, eventually when the girl came to, she said, how much are those Luminarc ashtrays? And she said, they're such and such. I said, what? And she was quoting me for a gross. And I said, no, each. She says, I don't know what they are each. And she said, so how many are you looking for? And I says, maybe half a dozen to begin. She said, what? She said, are you in the trade? And of course we weren't. And I went, no, but I'm just learning. And MacIver sent me down to see what I could get. I said, he's given me a fiver and I have to come back with whatever. I said, no, MacIver, right. She says, well, I'll give you 6 and it cost me 20p or something each, you know. So that's where we started trading with the non-trade licence. They would park their big vans, big lorries, huge lorries, refrigerated, and the guys would be in the back of them, cutting up the meat and stuff like that. And then the guy would be selling them fresh from right through the back. And people, this would be thronged with people listening to him and then shouting things like, I remember one guy saying, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? He says, you've been there. What is it? I don't know. He says, I'm looking for half a lamb. I said, you what, half a pound of lamb? And he says, no, half a lamb. He says, I want a whole lamb, fresh cut. And, you know, he says, oh, well, that'll take 20 minutes. So the guy stood, and then 20 minutes later, one of the butcher boys from the back of the van, he arrived out, and he had this big, by the foot of half a carcass of lamb. And the guy says, could you wrap it? There's a girl called Maureen O'Neill who lived in Bishopbriggs, and her dad had one of those big houses just up from the Brackenbury Road where the guy. And anyway, her sister-in-law was Chick Diamond's sister, right? Carol, and we went to a big party in the Neil's house for her engagement, right? And you were expected to bring a gift, an engagement gift, and I always remember coming down here and see that there. That's what I'm saying. That exact little what do you call it? Porcelain set, dinner set, dining set, with all the plates and things like that. I remember buying one of those and turning up the nails with that. And I thought it was the bees and knees, and it cost me a few pennies, to say the least. And when I turned up there for their buffet and stuff like that, they had all the plates with the gold and the silver, you know, the top end of everything, you know. Even the glasses were all crystal and everything else. And I brought one of these. Yeah. 30-piece dinner set for about £2.40 or something like that. Well, that would be old money, that is. Just opposite there is where Remnant King used to have his stall, and her friend used to frequent the cabin. And as you can see there, that's a new building that wasn't there, because you would come out of here and there was a wee lane here, and there, look now, was the back door to the cabin, so that after hours, and that was 2 o'clock on a Sunday in the afternoon, he used to find his way back to the cabin for the rest of the night. He went the whole way through, and then at the far end was the Remnant King. He had the other half of it, and on either side here and here was all the big shelves full of boxes, which is all war stuff. You could pick up a mine, a mortar, anything he fancied, including mashed potatoes in powder. There's no doubt about it that they've packed them in here. You know, you would never have it as narrow as here. There's plenty of room for people to go up, and you could look on either side without blocking anybody who's actually standing, negotiating whatever they want to go. Because here, if you stop and you start talking there, you only need one on either side, and there's no room for anybody to get through. But you could do that and have 2 or 3 people in front of your stall, and there'd be still plenty of room for everybody to still go up and down and make their way to where they go. No trouble.
Also, more or less.
Yeehaw! We got a visit. We were standing chatting behind the stall, and then suddenly we were aware of 2 guys just standing in front of the stall, just looking at us. And I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Aye." I said, what are you looking for?" He says, "I'm looking at your ashtrays." I says, "Good price on the ashtrays today, you know, special offer today there." He says, "No." He says, "I'm looking at what they cost." And he said, I said, "What? You think it's too expensive?" And he says, "No, it's not enough." I went, "What?" Turned out they had this unspoken understanding that you never undercut each other, you know, openly. And the other Luminarch topaz brown big chunky ashtrays were costing 15p or something like that, or whatever the cost was, and we were 2p cheaper. And just to warn you, that's the going rate. So we actually had to up our price just to comply, to avoid any difficulties, as they called it. This is it here. Yeah. This X marks the spot. But you couldn't stand on this side, right? You couldn't stand on this side, but you always had to be on that side, right? And on this side here, that wall was away, that wasn't there. And there was a space there at the side of the steps, and it was just rough dirts that was like still between the two. And you had to stand there, and then the Kiver and his henchman, huge big guy with what the jacket, what was it, monkey jackets they called them, big, and they would go and have a look around to see which of the regulars had taken up their stalls, and therefore how many spaces were left. So once they had a wee look round, they come back round here, and when they came to here, he had his coat on, his lamb coat on, and when he came in, he always had a big cigar. And when he came through, he would come to this one here, and he'd stand at the top, and he'd take his cigar, and then he'd look, and if he liked the look of you, in other words, you looked as if you needed money or you'd get a chance, he used to make a walk, and as he went down, he would give you the indication that you were on, and you had to then follow him, and they would take you round, and then you'd go way round and come out, and then he would do the same again, and you come here with a cigar. 2 weeks in a row, we were on and we didn't realise, because the sign that you were on was that when he came to here, he'd take a puff and he'd have a look, and when he saw you, he'd go, and his smoke from his cigar would come out the side of his mouth, and he would blow it in the direction of who he wanted to go in. And if it was you, you get the puff of smoke in your face in the direction. And then you follow him down and go away all the way around to wherever you're nominated as. And we missed the puffs 2 weeks in a row before we finally realised that we were on. And it was a great feeling when you thought, yes, we're on. Not so much at lunchtime, but at the end of the day, because in those days the schools finished at 3 o'clock, right, and the teachers all disappeared at 3 o'clock, unless they were doing a club or tutorials. But we used to go up to the Gatloch, up at Gartcosh. There was a big loch up there, and we used to go up there and cut the reeds off the side of the loch. There was all these reed banks, and we used to cut the reeds and take them back and dry them out, and then they became, and we used to cut them to size because when we made our tissue scented flowers, artificial, in all sorts of colours, including purple, which was very in at that time. We used to cut them to small, medium and large. And then we used to get all the tissue paper out of the art cupboard and make them into tissue flowers and then sell them. And to get the scent, you used to get Fleurette. It was called Fleurettes. I think you can still get Fleurette. Fleurette air spray, you know, for air freshener. And we used to get Fleurette and spray the, and that was a great seller. They said, "Oh, tell you, smell this. Look, well, they look good." And you say, "Look good. You should smell them as well." They don't smell. No, I'll tell you, they smell. And you say, sniff that, and you put one of tissue paper in her face, and oh my goodness, that's amazing. Wonders of Fleurette. Been waiting a while to be served. You'd be selling down here.
Thanks
rather
so
than
much.
buying.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, and good luck. Keep at it. Hello. And the sun's out shining, yes, as it always did on a Sunday afternoon. And you come out from the shed, that's the stall, into the sunshine with the pennies dangling in your pocket. And after that, woof, there you go. Sunday night in Motherwell with Uncle Des down at the Electric Bar.
Nothing can compare with the stuff they sell
And
in
Maureen,
Glasgow
of
Barras. Oh, the Barras, they're no in Rome or Paris. You just have to go to Glasgow's Gallowgate. They sell tickets to the moon, a return for half a croon, and 5 bob guarantees a first class seat.
Didn't have to go down, and funnily enough, the girl was in the same, the other girl, which I'll remember eventually her name. She got engaged at the same time as we did, and so.
You need to remember this girl's name. You've told about 5 stories with the girl whose name we told you.
She's a fellow teacher up in St Scholastica's.
Oh, I haven't seen so